Welcome to my show. A guest here. Her name is Lynda Leon. Mrs. Linda, how are you doing, ma?
I'm doing well, thank you.
And also, thank you so much for the time and the opportunity, Mrs. Linda. Firstly, you are an author. You are also a conscious life and parenting coach. Can you please, Mrs. Linda, discuss more about yourself and how you are doing currently now, Mrs. Linda?
Currently, I would say I work one-on-one with women in particular. It started a few years ago with my own journey of wanting to seek truth for myself, like who am I? Why am I here? These questions have always been something that I've asked myself, and so I was ready to go deeper into those questions and find answers for myself, which led me to going into conscious parenting and life coaching, like you mentioned. And then also following that, just going on a lot of different courses and retreats and things that took me deeper within and knowing myself. And then eventually I got to a point where it felt like I could share what I had learned for myself, what worked for me. And so that led me to creating the business that I have today of serving women.
There is nothing more beautiful and more profound when someone is trying to give the self reflection. When someone is trying to understand him or herself, it is one of the most beautiful aspects in one's life. When we discover who we are, that is when we know the direction we belong to. And that is when we start to see the right thing we need to do at the right moment, which also led you to be in the position to help women in your time today and also bring out a very, very profound and insightful book from the experience you've had in recent years. So I'd like to drive to your book, Mrs. Linda,
Sure.
Inside Out Creation. Can you please, Mrs. Linda, discuss more on the book? And do you also plan to write more books in the coming future, Mrs. Linda?
Mm, Good question. I would say at the moment, Um, like you said, it's a very moment-to-moment experience. So right now it feels like this book was something that I wanted to express based on all my experiences. And I can tell you that what it covers is what I saw in myself, basically the old version of me and the new version of me and the gap in between, like what would bring me closer? What are the things that I did personally to bring me closer to who I am now and in alignment with myself? And it goes through the major areas of life. So I would say career, love, finances, parenting, the major things that we tend to want to improve on. So I cover who I was before, who I am now, and ways that we can start asking ourselves questions to move closer to that version of who I am now. So more in alignment with ourselves. I wanted it to be something that people could use for their own alignment. Yeah.
Very, very beautiful. We do agree that we're all different beings and we all
Mhm.
have different personality. But what you
Right.
brought out is uniqueness. You've brought out what you think from the perspective you brought in. Now we're in the position to abstract
Mhm.
those knowledge from you and be in the position to see how we can add that up to what we've been doing and see how we can also use some certain areas to also see what could also work for us in angle to those perspectives. So it can also be a source of strength for every single one of us today. And that's why I
Mhm.
also like to drive to the point where many people they say they feel off, but they can't
Mhm.
really explain why. Because when
Yeah.
someone feel really down and off, there should be a reason, but they don't just have any reason to explain the main reason they feel in such way. So how do you think the listeners can just try their best from the experience you've had in recent years to begin to recognize where
Mhm.
their lives are out of alignment when it's their authentic self, rather, Mrs. Linda?
I would say what they can start to do is question, why do I feel this way? Why is it like for me, for example, I would be working towards a promotion or working towards buying a house. And I would feel like when I got there, when I got the promotion or the house, then I would feel happy, complete, and life would be great. But what I noticed was no matter what the goalpost was, when I got there was this feeling that something was missing, like I wanted more and I kept wanting more. So there was this desire that was never fully fulfilled, no matter what I was doing on the outside. So I would say to your listeners, start to question, why is it? Why am I, no matter what I do on the outside, there's this feeling of inner desire for more that doesn't quite seem to be filled by those outer things that I'm doing. And yeah, open yourself up to what else might be possible for you beyond focusing on the outer world.
And that is also one of the main reasons we always try our best to encourage people to try to stay in the present, because when we have a lot of achievement that we want to work on, we always end up feeling empty by the end of the day. And how can we be in a position, despite the achievements we have, we are actually feeling a whole? Is to actually appreciate the little we have and also the little achievement we brought towards ourselves. And those are the beautiful,
Mhm.
beautiful things that you actually bring that from the perspective you've also brought in as well, Mrs. Linda. And I would also like to drive to the point of science. We do know we are
Mhm.
different beings, and before we can be in a position to understand science, we have to understand who we are as a person. But there are also some signs that we think we can also use to know if we are actually doing what we are aligned to do, if we are actually doing what we are actually meant to do at the right moment. So alignments
Mhm.
often sound abstract at times. So what do you think are some of the clear practical signs that someone is living in alignment, probably physically, emotionally, or spiritually, Mrs. Linda?
Yeah, I love your question. I would say spiritually, it would feel like my what's driving me is coming from within me. And when I say within me, I mean that deeper self, that from my heart, like I feel alive when I'm doing the things that I'm doing, versus when I'm out of alignment, it feels like I'm doing things from the mental world where it's like I should be doing this, or there's a level of guilt, like if I don't do this, then I won't feel, then it's bad. So spiritually, it would feel like I'm living from my heart and I feel alive when I do things. Mentally, alignment feels, sorry, you said emotionally.
Yes,
Emotionally, alignment feels like there's joy, there's lightness, and those are feelings of the real me. Emotionally, if I'm feeling anger, fear, jealousy, resentment, all of those are out of alignment. Those are reactions to the mind-based sense of self. It's coming from fear. So if I'm feeling joy and flowing with my life, then I feel like I'm in alignment. If I feel fear, resentment, things like that, then it feels out of alignment. Physically in my world, in my outer world, from my experience, it feels like I'm taking action on inspired feelings of like, I can't wait to talk to this person, or I really want to write this email to someone. So physically in my outer world, what I'm doing is coming from a deeper place and not just, again, from the shoulds or the feelings like I must be doing something, but I'm not sure why.
I sincerely appreciate that beautiful insight. We do know fear is a normal thing that comes around us as humans, but we have to
Mhm.
also use this body. Our bodies speak to us in many, many ways, either
Mhm.
physically, emotionally, or spiritually. And
Right.
despite how it speaks to us, we should be in the position to recognize if it's actually sending some sense of message to us. Either we are actually doing what we are meant to do, or what we are having a lot of issues to do along the way. And that is very, very important in certain areas in the life we find ourselves. So I sincerely appreciate you from that beautiful insight, Mrs. Linda. And I would also like to drive to the point. I do know you drive to the point whereby you said fear is one of the things whereby one is not really aligned. But some people
Mhm.
could be in the position whereby that fear itself is even one of the main reasons. And it could be because of some things that we believe, which I want to drive more into work. You know, when someone is working, there are always some circumstances that goes around it, a lot probably financial aids and a lot of things that goes around it, which brings in a lot of fear along the way. So many
Mhm.
people are in the position whereby they stay in a work that doesn't feel right because of probably fear or obligation or probably some kind of financial activities that also go around it, Mrs. Linda.
Right.
So, what do you think are some of the first steps they can try to take to align their work with the values they have without blowing up their lives along the way, Mrs. Linda?
Mm. I love this. I would say, like you said, no reason to make any major changes, but what you can start to do is ask yourself if time or money were not an issue, what would you spend all day long doing? What can you get lost in? What would excite you? And without leaving job or anything, start maybe devoting a couple hours a week just doing that, maybe separately from your job, and see how that feels. Start to build the momentum with doing more of that on the side and notice like what eventually starts to happen is the excitement and the joy for that tends to grow as you commit to doing it over and over. And then eventually perhaps you get to a point where you know, like the more I go into that, a path may open for you to see where you can let go of the old way, the current job, and move more into that. So I think the key is starting with doing a little bit of it now and seeing how it feels and letting your true self express itself through creating in that way that it is excited to start doing and see where it goes from there.
I absolutely love what you said in the first place. Asking ourselves questions. We have to start to
Mhm.
give ourselves those questions. Now, when we send a questions right to ourselves, then whether we like it or not, the body usually provide the answer. Now, those answers that we see are what we are going to work on. What actually makes me happy? What actually can I actually add on to this thing to actually give me the joy I need? And despite how I feel discomfort or I feel the sense of fear, there will always be a part whereby I can feel the sense of joy and I can feel that I am in a position whereby I am being aligned with what I am doing. It is
Right.
a word of wisdom because if one can be in a position to actually give the sense of calculation and actually be in a position whereby he or she can say, despite this fear and this obligation, this thing that I'm actually having as an obstacle to me, I can be in a position to see what I can do to actually give myself a position whereby I can thrive, which shows a
Mhm.
very, very huge source of wisdom in its own way. I would also like to drive to the point of guilt and people pleasing. Some people are people pleasing. They are very, very good at people pleasing. They usually find it difficult when they actually are not in the position to actually please people. And to be honest with you, whether we like it or not on earth, we will just be in a position whereby we can't please everyone. It is not possible because that is not how the world is programmed. So I would like
Right.
to drive to that position because alignment sometimes requires disappointing others because when we are aligned and we know where we are going and we are actually projecting ourselves in the right way and we feel like we are doing the right thing and the results are coming in, there is no way we are going to do it. We'll disappoint people along the way. We're going to make people say, I don't think I can do this. How do you think listeners can still try their best to stay true to themselves without being ruled out by guilt or people pleasing
Mhm.
along the way, Mrs. Linda?
I love it. I would say um, start to recognize that whenever anyone is triggered, triggers are always internal and have nothing to do with you. So if someone's being triggered, it's about them and it's not about you. If I'm being triggered, it's about me and it's not about you, no matter what you did. And for me, that feels like truth. So level setting with that as the understanding, if I feel like I want to do something and I'm in fear of someone else feeling upset, angry, not liking it, feeling like I have to please them, then I'm in fear. I'm fearing being triggered by them, which has to do with them, which has to do with me and has nothing to do with them. So when we look at it that way, I feel like you can start to see that um, those fears of not pleasing people and things like that are all about us. And again, maybe start to turn inner and ask yourself, why do I feel like I need to please this person? And allow yourself to choose to do what feels right for you, regardless of anyone else's triggers, because at the end of the day, their triggers have to do with them and not you.
Beautiful. And that is it. Despite the person obstacle or I usually call it energy that has been brought onto us, it has to do with the person. And it is now our decision to know if we want to take it up. And that is why it is very, very important for us to be aligned with ourselves, because we will know if it's something we need to do or not do. Because if we are in a position to know what to do at the right moment and not, we will be in a position whereby we do not please the person, and most especially we will be very, very honest. We'll be a very honest type, because when we are in the position, we let the person understand this is how it is. I can't be able to do it. Out of honesty, we are all humans. They will always understand, because it is always their problem. And that is how we can also build a sense, because when we build a sense of alignment, also conversation also matter. The way we bring down situation and the way we also give it to people, the way we bring out conversation and also have to do with such person also really matters along the way. And when we are aligned, those things also follows as well, because we know what we are doing, we know where we are going, and we are actually seeing the result. I would like to drive to the place whereby some people who could be listening or who could listen to this episode are in a position whereby they feel really disconnected. And if we are disconnected, there is no way we can actually be in a position to align ourselves. And that is why I love what you said earlier during the beginning of our conversation, where you said we have to, we have to be in a position to ask ourselves some certain questions before we can actually know what we are meant to do. So, for listeners who feel disconnected from themselves, what do you think are some of the simple practices that can help them rebuild that inner connection and trust, Mrs. Linda?
Mm. I would say start by making it a practice of taking 3 fully deep belly breaths and allowing yourself to ground into your heart, the feeling of being connected to your heart, because that's where the real you lives. And from that place, start to build a relationship with that part of you and ask yourself, what feels right for me? What feels in alignment? So once you're connected to your heart, ask yourself, what feels right? What do I want to do today? What actions feel right to take today? And allow the answer to rise up from within you so that you're not thinking it, but allowing yourself to feel it in your body, if that makes sense. And then have the stillness or the patience to allow the answer to come up from inside of you, from your heart, from within your body. It tends to feel like it comes from my gut for me, which is the source of what it feels like is intuition. So allow the answer to come from there and build a relationship that way where your answers or your actions are taken from the knowingness of within your body. That's how we can start to build that connection to our true self, which resides down within the body, right?
You said it all, self reflection. There is no way we can get out to the position whereby we want to connect back to ourselves without sitting down and reflecting on ourselves, sitting down and actually giving the
Mm.
sense of thinking and also giving ourselves very, very deep questions. Questions that we sit down, we meditate on, and it's bring out a lot of profound answers along the way. And we can use that with time. And with time, we
Right.
build a relationship with that inner self. Because at the end of the day, the answer is always in us. That is it. So we have to continue to build it to the point whereby we're in a position to actually know what we should do at the right moment. And that time, Then we are more patient. We know what to do. We know what to mix with. We know where to go, and we know what to do at the right moment as well. I sincerely appreciate. I would just like to go back to your book, Inside Out Creation. From the experience you've had, we should
Mhm.
dive to more of a personal experience from the present, also what you have also encountered, and also things that you want to do as well. If there is any message you would just like to bring out from the book, what do you think it will be, Mrs. Linda?
Yeah, I would say towards the back of the book, I cover a very simple way you can check in. I like doing it at the end of the day by asking just three very simple questions that build that habit of inner reflection. So, simple questions like, what do I want to start doing? What do I want to stop doing? And what do I want to continue doing? And when you ask these questions, like, what I do is reflect on my day, like, what actions did I take today that I want to um, continue doing? What's working, right? What's going well for me? What feels right? What do I want to stop doing? So in my day, maybe I don't know, I kept saying yes when I really wanted to say no. So maybe I'll tell myself in the future, I'll check in before actually saying yes when I mean no. And then the last one is, what do I want to start doing? So give yourself space to see, well, what changes do I want to make? What patterns do I want to shift? If I'm used to drinking 3 cups of coffee, maybe I want to start drinking two or just one, or just shift my way of running my day so that it's more in alignment with myself. And you can do that just with these three simple questions because they give you a chance to see how your patterns of running your day are operating and how you want to shift that into more alignment.
Hmm. That's stop, then how can I continue? Those three big questions actually give us the sense for us to bring a very huge reflection to ourselves and also bring out the answers that we need from our inner self. We can't tell them what
Mhm.
it will be. Mine is different, yours is also different, and every single one answer will surely be different. And that is
Right.
how very beautiful and profound our world is today. And also, Mrs. Linda, there is also a question I normally ask during the end of the show. From our forefathers, from our ancestors, there are a lot of beautiful things that do exist during our ancestral time that is missing in our time today. If there is anyone or anything you would like to bring back to our time today, Mrs. Linda, what do you think that thing will be, Mrs. Linda?
Mm. From our ancestors' times, I would say, I mean, I don't know what it felt like to be in those times, but I would say the sense of community. I feel like more and more as I'm meeting with women, I hear it repeatedly. It's like we all are wanting that sense of community, like real in life connection face to face with like-minded people that inspire us and lift us up or open us up to different perspectives. And yes, we can do it online, but I hear it over and over that women want to be able to go have coffee with a friend down the road or just call a friend and meet up with them. So I think long ago, community was there, and along the way, we've lost touch with that community, and everyone's kind of siloed in their own worlds. But it's something that would be amazing if we bring that back into our current reality. Yeah.
Exactly. Despite our pain, despite our struggles, despite the ups and downs we have in life, we need people to actually be there for us physically. We don't know the internet is great, but we need people who we could actually go out, speak to, have physical conversation with. It's always different when we have
Yeah.
physical conversations with people like the way we are doing currently. It's always so much different. And we have to try our best to use this as a channel. Despite how we use it very easily, it should be a channel for us to actually even get out again, to actually come around to say who are available, to come out and actually have the sense of coming together and speaking together. It is very
Mhm.
important in our time. And also, Mrs. Linda, from the great work you've done and also the experience you've had, I want to use this opportunity to thank you for the time, the opportunity you've given to me for us to discuss on this particular area in life. Thank you so much, Mrs. Linda.
Thank you. This was great. I really enjoyed answering your questions. They were very thoughtful and definitely drives home the message in the book. So thank you.
All right. Have a wonderful day, Mrs. Linda. Bye.
Take care. Thank you. Bye.